going on, YouTube? Today I'm going to be installing this Kineti-Tech trigger shoe on this Glock 19. I found this to be one of the most affordable just shoes, because they had the option to buy the shoe with the trigger bar, but it was an untuned trigger bar, and it was like a $50 difference to get the shoe with the trigger bar. So I didn't think that it was worth it to buy a standard factory OEM trigger bar at the same price I can buy it anywhere else. So the video I saw said to use a 2mm punch. I recently got this Stanley Fat Max set of punches that did not have a 2 because they're in standard, but this is a 1/16 that's miking out at right at 70 thou. It's miking out at 1.85, so I'd be more inclined to use it under than over. So I'm gonna go with this. So we're gonna go ahead and clear the weapon. So slide lock back, peeky check, we're clear. No mag, we're clear. Safe direction for all you safety Nazis. Safety Gestapos, as I've heard them called. I guess I don't need to do anything with that. I'm gonna go ahead and do a full breakdown on this. So, locking block pin. Pull the locking block. And our trigger assembly pin. And we should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and remove the trigger bar. Just so I feel a little bit better about that. Maybe you guys with big hands struggle with getting this spring off as much as I do. There may be somebody who watches this that's better at this than I am. You can tell me an easier way to do that. Okay. This trigger bar does have, I did do the 25-cent polish deal on this guy, so it is a little shinier than stock. I'm not sure if it's going to pick that up, but I've done some polishing on it from what I thought was safe. I have this piece of, I honestly don't know what it is. It's not magnetic. I pulled it from a pile of scrap, but it's just a little weighted cylindrical deal here with a hole in the middle. So I'm going to use that to drive my pin through. I say I am. That may not clear. That's an awful small hole to be aiming for. But all I'm going to do, I may run over here to the vise out of frame, but all I'm going to do is put my pin in between the vise, the jaws of the vise, put a jaw here, and put the gap in the middle, and then I'm just going to punch that thing straight through. It's a blind hole, blind roll pin, so it's going to blow out the plastic on this side, so it will make this trigger, I say it'll make it inoperable. I guess you could always just put the pin back in it. There would just be a blowout on this side. So that's your discretion, but I'm fairly sure you can get replacement trigger shoes for close to nothing that are Glock. So, and I want to hold this up, and I don't know if you can see this, but this, I bought the slightly canted. It's not the flat, it's got the bend in the center. There's about 4 different options on Kineti-Tech's website you can get, and one of them is a full flat that comes back here. This has got more of a divot. in the center. But it is going to bring the angle of that trigger back. If I can hold this right there, that's going to bring that back a good amount. I don't know if you can pick that up. So it's going to bring that back 1/8 of an inch or more for sure, which is what I was looking for, because I've got these little sausage stumpy finger hands. And to get a nice high grip on this thing, I have done the double undercut, but I sometimes see that my trigger finger, I'm really reaching. If I get a nice good grip and wrap on this thing, my trigger finger, I'm right at the tip of the pad. So I wanted to move that trigger location back. So I'm going to go ahead and punch this. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just a couple of taps with a mallet. And that came out. See, so I did blow the plastic out the other side, you can see. So that's going to happen. Although I got a little piece of it hanging on, so I might hang on to this. I mean, you know, never hurts to be too prepared, I guess, having a spare sitting around, but it came out like that. So I'm just going to remove that guy just like this. And Kineti-Tech puts their replacement pin already in the replacement shoe. So fairly sure I just got to set this guy in there. There seems to be a small amount of tolerance in there too, so I was wondering how he did it. He set it in there and just put it in an arbor press, and I was wondering if that could misalign. You could misalign the hole in your bar and the shoe, but it seems to be that the tolerance in there are close enough to when you stick it in there, it's pretty much going to be lined up no matter what. So I am just going to stick this dude on there like so. And I do not have an arbor press, so I'm just going to tap that a couple times. No dice, huh? Okay. And I'm going to put this guy here. I'm using a springy surface, so I'm going to come to here. Pad's kind of springy, so I'm going to go to here. I'm going to wrap this. I don't want to mess up that anodization. I'm actually going to use a metal face hammer for this. I'm going to hold that guy in there. I felt it. Yeah, okay, so it's in there. It bit. So now I just need to close that gap. I think I'm actually going to use the jaws of my vise to do this. I'm just going to set it in the vise, clamp down on it, and just drive that pin in. I'm going to use a rag over the jaws of the vise. I've got brass jaws on this vise, but I don't have soft jaws. So I'm just going to put it in the vise and then just close that gap to push that pin in. Oh yeah, it's going. Sorry you're out of frame. This is kind of my first attempt at something like this. Okay, it's in. It's floating good. It is slightly protruded right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it facing flat like that. I'm going to take my punch and just tap, tap, tap-a-rooney. I'm not sure if that's I mean, there's a through hole there, but it could have a shelf on the bottom of it. So I think think I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna try it one more time just to tap it. Just to try to seat it, get it nice and flush. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And it's moving fine, so we're good to go. So, moment of truth. I didn't find any specifics on the website whether or not this trigger shoe only would decrease any take up or creep or anything like that. So I guess we shall find out. Does feel good. Yeah, we're good to drop this dude in there. Look at there. Okay, let's give this thing a little put together here and see what happens. Looks good. There is some spring tension right here that I'm having to press down to get that shoe to go in flush enough to where I can see the hole and the pins line up. But you know, that's not hurting my feelings as long as it'll go in. Like that. Yeah, that went in smoothly. Oh, seems to be working. Okay, let's try the trigger safety. Trigger safety is engaging. So that is a work. What it looks like installed. It is all anodized. Everything's aluminum. So I like that. It is flat face. All right, here, moment of truth. Gun's clear, no mag. See if I can show this to you. All right, so that's about as much take up as there is. And it's pre-travel, excuse me. I guess pre-travel. And it hits. There's a little hiccup right there. Okay, so you're gonna hit a little. I hit a little bit stronger tension here, so. But there's my wall. I mean, this is a stock trigger bar too. This is not. The only thing replaced, only thing that's not OEM in this is the actual shoe. So there's the wall, a little bit of creep, and there's the brake. And there's reset. Reset, brake. Reset brake is very short, I will say that. So reset. Brake. Reset. Brake. And when it's right there, when it's in the depressed position, that's sure enough, that's actually more than 90 degrees. That's actually a little better than 90. So if 90 were here, it's going to be sitting this way of 90 just a little bit. So yeah. So no, I'm not dropping it from waist high. I'm just not that brave. It does not seem to be firing. But see, yeah, I like this. See, now when I get my grip on there, so there's my grip. I got these little sausage fingers. Before, I was impacting the trigger safety and front housing of the trigger like up here, and it just, I didn't feel like that was accurate enough. I didn't feel like my finger placement was gonna be sufficient. But now I can get like dead middle of my finger, the fat of my finger pad right there. So I'm impacting it about right here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm impacting about right here. So that's optimal. That's ideal. I think now I can really get a better, more accurate, repetitious placement on the trigger shoe itself. So yeah, that's the Kineti-Tech. I'm gonna violate some safety laws here, but point it at me. But I want you to get a good angle of both of those sides, and that's it. That's the Kineti-Tech trigger shoe. That was, I believe it was $54 shipped to my door, and I ordered that. Today is Sunday. It was actually here yesterday, but I was not. I think it was $54 shipped to my door, and I think I ordered it on Wednesday of last week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, very fast shipping. I'm very pleased with how fast it shipped. So, and it came just in this little bag right here, and it was, I will say, it was wrapped in, I don't have it here, it was wrapped in a nice little bubble wrap thing. So they take some precautions as it's shipping to you, so that it doesn't get bounced around or anything in transit. So I'm happy with it. I like that. I mean, maybe some of you guys can afford that $325 pyramid trigger from glockstore.com and Lenny McGill, but I really just my main focus was I wanted to move the location of where the trigger was impacting my front sausage finger. So, and I think I'm happy with that. I'm really excited to get this thing to the range and get some shots off. So that's about my pre-travel where I hit the wall there. A little bit of creep, then break. So yeah, I'm happy. I think it's a nice addition to this little Glock 19 project. If you like your content here, I think I'm going to, this is the first time I've ever done any type of serious, I'm going to say that in quotes, serious Glock modification. So I believe that I am going to do a stipple job on this myself. I did the double undercut myself. Got the Trigicon HDs on the way. But I may do a video if this has any type of viewership. May do a video on the stipple job. So thanks a lot.